how can we apply this knowledge at a planetary level, especially now that we are having so many catastrophes and there's so much chaos going on? How can we apply this so we don't get into the mentality of we have to save this planet?
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. The planet doesn't need saving. The people need saving if we're going to live here much longer, you know? I would say one of the biggest things, one of the biggest gifts is something we've already discussed, which is interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Because what happens is if you go into resistance and reaction to world events, if you go into resistance and reaction to our president and what he's choosing, if you go into resistance and reaction to some other world leader and what they're choosing, you lock it in place. So really, and so that's that conversation. And then from my point of view, what it truly takes to create a different world is each of us truly choosing and creating our lives and getting out of the resistance and reaction and getting out of the idea that we can't create our lives and getting out of the idea that we have to do it like anybody else does. And so this idea of interesting point of view is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. So when you notice yourself resisting and reacting, going, I want to kill this part, I can't believe they're doing this. Go, okay, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And if you have the clearing statement available, you go, okay, so everything I've done to buy this and everything I'm doing to resist and react to it, I now destroy and uncreate it. And then you go, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That's the clearing statement, which takes too long to explain, but anyway.
So we are kind of contributing to our planet by detoxifying our own point of view.
Exactly. Part of the greatest gift that we can be. And also we need to realize that, you know, really, it's like, if not us, whom? And if not now, when? How much longer are we going to wait to recognize we're all on this planet together and to stop believing that the voices that scream the loudest and the people that hate the most are the ones that have the power? They don't. There is more power in your pinky than there is in their entire body. But we have to be the ones to recognize that. And another note on power is, in Access we don't talk so much about your power, you know, claim your power and that, because what we'd rather have you have access to is your potency. What's the distinction? Well, power in this reality is pretty much power over somebody else. If you have more guns, if you're stronger, if you're meaner, if you hate more, if you judge more, then you have power here. That's not true power. There's a potency that consciousness is. There's a potency in kindness. There's a potency in generosity. There's a potency in having no point of view and not resisting and reacting. All of those potencies allow you to change the world. Well, in order to change the world, because a lot of us look out and go, oh, I'd like to change the world. No, it has to start with us. It has to start with, look, I'm actually being effective in changing my life, in actually creating a life that I desire. And I am bringing more kindness, I'm bringing more generosity, more gentleness. I'm bringing more awareness of possibilities to the world. And from there, we can actually be this, which truly creates a change in the world. But we've got to recognize that we have the potency to do it, and potency is the capacity to create change. And if you're living in your life right now and you're like, I'm suffering my life, I haven't been able to change it yet, I'm going to say there's a few things going on. One is you maybe just haven't been given the right tools to actually address what's really going on. You've been trying to fight against what isn't working rather than choose what could work.
And your book offers some really good starters to make those changes happen.
Thank you. That's why I wrote it. I wanted people to have something that would actually change, you know, it's called Being You Change in the World, because I wanted them to get to actually be them and actually realize the world can change, their world and ours, you know? And before I wrote that book, the reason I wrote it was because when I came to Access, there wasn't a set of tools that was right together. It's like I had to find them, you know? And I was like, Wouldn't it be easier for other people if they didn't have to go searching so long and, you know?
Yeah, for me, as I told you before, it gave me a language for the concepts that were on my mind. It gave me a language on how to express that, and that makes a big difference when you can talk about it instead of just.
Yeah. And instead of also thinking you're the only crazy one with those thoughts in your head,